Hi, everybody. It's Juliana here. And today I just want to talk about something that is actually really close to my heart. I'm really passionate about this subject. And the reason why I'm passionate about this subject is because it's something that held me back from success for so long. And I also know that it holds so many other people back from success. But the problem is that we don't really realize that that's what's happening to us. And when I talk about success and holding me back from success, it doesn't just mean that it could be holding you back from success in business or jobs or life or anything like that. It could even be like personal success, like feeling happiness and feeling relaxed and feeling calm, and having the confidence to kind of go after the things that you want, which could be anything in life, because success means different things to different people. But there is one thing that a lot of people do have in common with whatever success means to you, and that is the limiting beliefs that come along with trying something new, having something new, etc. So today I just wanted to talk about it because, like I said, it's something that is really close to my heart. It's something that I really struggled with without even realizing at the beginning. It's something that I have to work on myself now every day. I'm just going to share with you some tools and some things that I'm able to do that will help you potentially. So I've got 7 reasons or 7 ways in which you can kind of help yourself with overcoming those limiting beliefs. And half of the battle is understanding what those limiting beliefs are. So let's go way back a second. So what are limiting beliefs? So limiting beliefs are basically like thoughts or opinions that you or somebody believes to be the absolute truth to themselves. It's not positive. It tends to have a real negative impact on anybody's life, personal life, business life, moving forward in careers and business and things like that, but it stops you from moving forward. And it's really important to kind of, if you're looking for that next step in your life, like I was, it's really important to be able to identify those are the things that are holding you back. Now, where they come from are things like that maybe you were conditioned with in the past. So, for example, for me then, I didn't ever think that I would be able to achieve anything huge. I always thought that the big stuff wouldn't happen to somebody like me. And the reason for that is because I didn't grow up around wealthy people. We were very poor actually growing up. And then when I left home and I kind of branched out on my own house, my own career and things, I was also really poor then. And it's because those belief systems that I had when I was younger, that like stuff like that doesn't happen to people like me. Rich people don't have a life. Rich people work really hard all the time. Rich women can't have the family and be rich. You can't have that balance, just all these little limiting beliefs. I never thought I was good enough. I thought I was, even when I started a business myself and I was in networking, I was very young starting my networking career. And I used to think to myself, do you know what? No one is ever going to take me seriously because I'm too young. I was actually in my corporate job before I even started branching out into networking. I was actually one of the youngest PAs. I was a personal assistant in a corporate bank, and I was one of the youngest PAs. And I used to even then say to myself, people won't take me serious. They won't take me seriously because I'm too young. Then I had a big hang up about being short. I thought I was too short. It's these limiting beliefs, these things. You probably will identify now some things that you say to yourself. But what happened is that actually I didn't realize that they were limiting beliefs, which was, a bit difficult really for you to overcome if you don't know that you've got them. It's just a story that you tell yourself, throughout life, and it kind of sticks with you, because then it becomes a habit then, doesn't it? Because it's the story that you've told yourself, it's what you feel comfortable with, etc., etc. So yeah, that is what limiting beliefs are. So if you're kind of thinking now, you might be thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of identify with that a little bit. But just to go into even more detail, what I've learned along the way, especially with kind of coaching and helping lots of people, is that the most common limiting beliefs that I've found to be are fear of success. So many people are fear of success. I was afraid of success because I didn't know if I wanted to become that person that you had to be successful, which my idea of it was that they were cutthroat, that they didn't have a life, they didn't have any time, the fear of success, or I'd have to not be around my current group of friends and maybe I'd have to move into a different group, because that was my understanding of it, right or wrong. Yours might be the same, I don't know. But I was afraid of succeeding because I didn't want to let go of my old life, because I loved my old morals, I loved my old values that were taught to me through when I was younger. So the fear of success is actually quite common for a lot of people, but even more common is the fear of failure. Lots of people are afraid of failing. But when you kind of look at the people that have made it big over the years, if you look at their track record, I guarantee they failed at something, because you only get better by maybe failing, because you don't see it as a failure, you see it as a learning curve, and that's all mindset. We'll talk about that in different sessions. But fear of failure, fear that we're not good enough to achieve what we want. That was my hang up. I had no self-worth, no self-esteem. I was, didn't think stuff like that was going to happen to people like me. I wasn't good enough, I wasn't tall enough, I wasn't old enough, all these stories I told myself. I think at one point I had another limiting belief, which was I live in Wales, I live in South Wales, lived there all my life, and I was told that I'd never build a networking business in Wales, and that stuck to me. And what happened was, the lady that actually said that to me, she said, oh, you'll never be able to build a business in Wales. So that's what I told myself for so long, that I'd never be able to build a business in Wales. So because she was obviously established, she was huge in the industry that I was in, and that's what she said to me, that was the story that I believed. And for years and years, I believed that I would never be able to build a business in Wales, to the point where I was actually going to up sticks and move to London, because I thought that that's where you needed to be able to build a business. Anyway, when I got a total grip of myself and I started overcoming my beliefs, my business in networking and the industry that I'm in became one of the top businesses in Wales for years and years and years. We were one of the fastest growing businesses in Wales, and actually we had like regions, and we were the top business in the top area in Wales. Wales was the top area for a good few years. And because I believed that you wouldn't be able to build a business in Wales. But when I decided that, that's a limiting belief, I'm not going to let that own me, I'm not going to let that define me. We built a top business in Wales, and I was, top of the leaderboards in Wales. So, you know what? Don't tell yourself that kind of story, because what you tell yourself is what you'll believe. But that's just an example of that. Fear of not being loved or being unlovable, fear of rejection, generally leading you to then avoid any relationships or people and things like that, because you're just so scared of rejection, also stopping you from moving forward in your current careers, or even leaving your careers to go for better pastures, or even kind of starting that business that you really wanted to start. The rejection is huge. That goes back to like the stories that you've been told, or the conditioning from your past, where no and was a very negative thing. So maybe when you were a child, like you do it to your kids, don't you? No, don't touch that. No, you can't have that. And it feels bad. The word no is horrible. It makes you feel bad. So it's that rejection, it's that feeling of rejection, or no, I'm not going to take you to the dance, no, I don't want to be your girlfriend or boyfriend, no, you didn't get that job, no, you didn't get into that kind of university. And it makes you feel bad. So what happens is that attaches to you through over the years, and you just feel scared of rejection and you don't like it. Having negative attributes assigned to being rich or having money. So, like I said earlier, for example, rich people, are cutthroat, for example, and I didn't want to be cutthroat, so I didn't want to be a rich person. I've now learned that you can be your total authentic self and be super successful, and you don't have to change who you are, because I haven't, and I haven't changed myself. I've made myself kind of a bit better through personal development. I feel like I'm a better person. I feel as though I'm a lot more positive, but I haven't changed. I've changed for the better. Some people have a fear of greatness, some people think that they don't deserve or they're not worthy of success. Some people will have a limiting belief that we have to work really hard and long hours for our money, and some people might think that other people hold them back. And what that then in turn turns into is bad self-talk, which is bad self-talk is basically the story that you'll tell yourself every day, like things like that doesn't happen to people like me. I'm not good enough. I'll never be able to achieve this. I hate myself. If you're saying any of these words to yourself, you need to think, I can't believe that's me. I'm saying that. I need to stop that straight away, because it's not serving you. You don't want to be pulling yourself down anymore. There's too much out there in the world that does that for you. You want to be your best friend. You want to be lifting you. And a real good rule of thumb that I use now is I think to myself, do you know what? These things that I'm saying to myself, you're not good at this. Things like that doesn't happen to you. You're not good enough. I'll never be able to achieve this. I hate myself. I'm too short. I'm too young. She's better than me. Ask yourself the question, would you say that to your best friend? And if the answer is no, I won't say that to my best friend, then don't say it to yourself, because you should be your best friend, the best friend you've ever had, because the only person that can lift you up is you. You have to believe it. So all those limiting beliefs will turn into that bad self-talk. Now, the good news is that you can actually overcome this. You can actually change your direction. This is the great news. We're human beings. We have that capacity to be able to change whatever we don't like. It's just overcoming that, isn't it? And deciding to do that. So here is a little exercise that I do that you can do, because you're also not the finished article. Like, I'm not the finished article. I never will be, I don't think, because of my conditioning in the past. It's like your mind is like a muscle, you have to exercise it. Let's say you exercised really hard and you got yourself a six pack, you got yourself your abs, and you're really strong and you're looking really fit. Well, if you stop going to the gym for like 2 months and started eating rubbish, what would happen? You'd lose all that, wouldn't you? So your mind is the same. So if you started exercising your mind, you started talking to yourself nicely, you started overcoming those limiting beliefs by doing this kind of exercise, and then you thought, I'm there now, I'm done, and you stop, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to go backwards, because you're not exercising your brain. So I can't stress this enough. Although this is a great exercise to do straight away and help you change things, it's also something that you want to continue to do, because you want to continue to always be exercising that good thought process, so you don't fall back into your old ways, because it's so easily done. And it's only because your brain thinks that that's comfortable. Your brain's like, oh yeah, that's comfortable. I know that. I recognize that. I felt safe there because I wasn't challenging myself going forward, etc. So it's really important that if you're going to start the journey of self-development, if you're going to start the journey of kind of identifying those limiting beliefs, overcoming those limiting beliefs, that you do it consistently. And it's something that you work at, and you give yourself a goal to make sure that you touch it and you work it every single day. So the first thing I do is I think about, right, what is my limiting belief? You could have a few. I had a few. I've given you some examples, haven't I, of what limiting beliefs may be. So you could have a few different limiting beliefs. So what is my limiting belief? And you write that limiting belief down on a piece of paper and you keep it there. And then what I want you to do is ask yourself the question, does this belief serve me? The answer is probably no, because it makes you feel bad. How do you know whether it serves you or not? You'll know whether it serves you because if you are thinking of that limiting belief and you feel good, it's serving you. If you think of that belief system that you've got, that limiting belief, and you think, do you know what? I feel really bad. It's not serving you. Anything, this is people, this is situations, anything that doesn't make you feel good, it's not serving you. And my advice is get rid straight away, whatever isn't making you feel good, because life is too short to be anything but happy. That's another session. We'll talk about that again. Then what I want you to think about is, okay, how has this belief affected me in the past? So this is a lot of kind of internal work you're going to be doing, and it can be quite difficult because it's about being very self-aware of yourself, and it's about analysing you. And sometimes the hardest thing that we can do is analyse ourselves, isn't it? I mean, you're probably like me here, it's so easy when a friend comes to you with a problem for you to just tell them all the things that they need to do and give them all that great advice. But you can't take that advice on yourself. So what I want you to do is, again, be your best friend, and the advice and the things that you would give your best advice that you give your best friend, give it to yourself. Okay. So that's all this internal work you're going to be doing, and it's really going to help you. So how has this belief affected me? And write that down. So like I said, it's all internal work now. So where did this belief come from? Where did it even come from? Write that down. Why am I continuing to believe this? And write it down. Like, what is the reason that you're continuing to believe this thought? Is it because the people around you are saying the same thing? Is it because the circles that you're surrounding yourself by have that belief or have those things and aren't lifting you any higher? Doesn't mean you have to take them out of your life completely. Absolutely not. You've got loads of people in your life that you will love and keep in your life forever. But you kind of know, do I need to build an additional circle to be able to help me with my belief systems, with my thought processes, with my moving forward in life and business, etc.? Because you are the people that you surround yourself by. So why am I continuing to believe this? That's really important. Have a good think about it and write it down. I love this bit because this bit was really empowering. And I think this was the bit that changed for me, because it was like, how would I feel if I let that belief go? And I just sat there and I thought, how would I feel if I let this belief go? And I immediately just felt taller. My arms went back, I felt happier. I felt more relaxed. I just felt different. And it was like, well, that is how I'm going to feel. And when you feel how you're going to feel when you let that go, it's a great indicator then, and a great kind of commitment to yourself to be able to continue feeling like that, because you feel good. So don't just feel like good and like that for a second. Feel like it forever, and that's then where true happiness comes from. And then the seventh thing that I would say to do is write down, how would I feel if I believed the opposite to this belief? That's really powerful as well. So I'd say number 6 and 7 are the two most powerful realizations that you'll probably have from doing this exercise. And I want you to write them down, and I want you to really take some time and think about it, and do this exercise for each individual limiting belief that you can think that you have. And if a month goes down the line, if 2 years goes down the line, and you start to feel bad, and you start to feel like my belief systems are getting lower and my energy is getting lower, bring this exercise back out and do this exercise again, because it could just mean that you've picked up some other limiting beliefs along the way for whatever reason. The art to it is being so self-aware of what is coming into your life, what will serve you and not. You might not ever get to that point, but we're human beings. We go on autopilot. Life gets in the way. So sometimes we don't necessarily always have that self-awareness. So this exercise is a really great exercise to keep there and just completely do for all those different limiting beliefs that you will pick up. And then the one thing that I want you to do then is, like I just said on the last one, on number 7, when I said, how would you feel if you believed the opposite of this belief? I want you to write the opposite of that belief. This is the reprogramming now, really. So how would I feel if I believed the opposite of that belief? And that belief, how you would feel, I want you to say that to yourself at least 3 times a day in the beginning. Maybe morning, noon, nighttime. End the day with a list of gratitudes of all the things that you're grateful for. End the day literally reading all the positive things. So you'll have a limiting belief list potentially, and in that limiting belief list you'll have the, what will I feel like if I believe the opposite? And then write a list of the opposite, and it's what I want you to burn the limiting belief bit and write out, or so read out that positive list over and over and over again, because your brain is remarkable. What you tell it, it will then start to believe. You can't tell it something for a day or an hour or a week. Over and over and over, repetitiveness, until then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes ingrained into you, and that's all your brain knows. And then you literally will start to see the difference in the opportunities that will come your way, because your mind will be open to looking at them more. You'll be very surprised of how you feel about going into different situations. Yeah, you'll feel nervous. Yeah, you'll be afraid of rejection. But the difference is you'll have the belief systems inside yourself to be able to overcome that. And that is the key. And that is then living life with no compromise. So thank you so much for joining me. If you do have any aha moments, then go ahead and share them. You can find me on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. So yeah, share them with me. And I'd love to kind of hear your journey and how you're getting on with those limiting beliefs. I'll catch you again really soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.